Welcome to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson, the head football coach, and we're here to talk about, unfortunately, the ending to our season. We started off on a lower note with the beginning of our games and ended up overcoming a lot of adversity and showing a lot of characters. We sprinted towards the finish line with a several-game winning streak and making it to the second round of the playoffs for back-to-back years, which has never been accomplished here at Northwest. We sure haven't won back-to-back home playoff games as we did. So extremely proud of our young men, proud of our coaching staff, and proud of the accomplishments that they had, especially our seniors. We will talk about all of those guys a little bit later. Let's talk about the stats a little bit. We played Bainbridge High School, ended up with losing by a score of 48-7. It was 7-0 into the third quarter. Or first quarter, and they were able to put together a couple of explosive plays on us, and we committed a few turnovers that ended up kind of spelling our doom. A team as fast as Bainbridge, you're not going to have a ton of opportunities. They won a state championship 2 or 3 years ago. They have a SEC commit. They have several college prospects on their team. So there's a lot of positives for Bainbridge, and it makes it really difficult when you make mistakes against those kind of people. But in the end, I'm proud of our young men. They never gave up. They fought. We were able to put some things together and present them with some issues, and the coach was very complimentary of how hard our kids played and the character they showed during the game. Ultimately, passing-wise, Owen Brooker was 20 for 38 for 213 yards and a touchdown. Very difficult because they had shown all year they didn't want to put 6 people in the box versus spread offense, and they did against us. So it made our rushing yardage very limited, and at the same time of that, it made Owen have to throw the ball almost every single play, and everything becomes easier for any defense, whether it's run or pass, when you can basically concentrate on one thing at a time. So they were able to play some man coverage and do some things that we haven't seen this year, but I thought our guys played pretty well. Owen is an explosive player for us. I believe he's over the 6,600-yard mark for his career. He ended up with, I believe, over 2,900 yards for this season, and by my estimation, he's around 1,650 yards away from finishing in the top 20 all-time passing yardage in Georgia history. So there's some big accomplishments out there that Owen has already made, but he would tell you his biggest desire every single Friday is not a stat, but for our team to win. So Owen will continue to move on as he's a junior for us and becomes a senior, and will try to excel at everything he does. Rushing-wise, there wasn't much to speak of. They did a lot of different things, a lot of twists and slants to try and limit our game. Adrian Reyes had a few yards there on several carries, but left early in the game, unfortunately, to a dislocated elbow, but kind of in typical Adrian fashion. He played a very physical brand of football, and on the play he got hurt on, he left his feet, knocked a linebacker out of bounds as we were running the screen, picked up about 7 yards behind him, but unfortunately his arm twisted as he landed and ended up getting hurt. Cameron Collins came on, gave us a few carries in his time there, and also caught a football for us. He's a freshman. He'll be back. Unfortunately, this was Adrian's senior year. Receiving-wise, the guy that produced the biggest yardage on the night was Hudson Gray. He had 4 catches for 94 yards, had a couple of really long catches for us. Hudson grew as the year went on and has a ton of potential as he works in the offseason with Coach Prather and catches the ball in an even more consistent fashion and competes for every ball. We think he's going to be a very good player for us. Braden Morrison, one of our seniors, ended up catching 9 balls for 69 yards. I believe he passed Ray for our season leader in catches. And just did an outstanding job for us. He and Ray kind of went back and forth all year. Most teams chose to double team Ray, which allowed us to be able to get the ball to Braden in a high efficient fashion. And in typical Braden Morrison fashion, he caught several balls and was very physical on the night. It's something that we've seen all year and something that we'll definitely miss as he graduates. Ray Morrison finished his high school career with 4 catches and 41 yards and a touchdown, and we're just thankful for his growth as a person and as a football player, and we believe he's going to have a chance based off of some interest from colleges to go ahead and play in college somewhere. Jace Talley, a junior for us, we've talked about many weeks, had 2 catches for 8 yards. Jace is a capable young man. We are looking for him to be a consistent starter for us next year. We want him to be a 30-40 catch guy for our offense in the coming year. So we definitely look forward to having Jace, and then I've already mentioned Cameron with his reception. Grant Holder performed as good as he did all year long those last few games, probably the last 3 games of the year, which despite the inconsistency early on, we're very encouraged about where he ended up, not only on field goals, PATs, which most people notice, but he became so much more consistent on kickoffs for us. So, he did a good job. We also have our Holder and Braxton Floyd back, who also returns as a starter at wide receiver in DB, and then Jax Brooker, our snapper. So we're in fairly good shape in special teams as Hudson also returns punting and had a very good night against Bainbridge as well, punting the ball. Let's move ahead and talk about our defense now. I thought our front 7 did a really good job with inside the box runs. We really limited them to what they were wanting to accomplish, what they'd really accomplished against everybody, against teams like Thomasville, Thomas County Central, some of the perennial state powers, and people that follow high school football recognize those names. They probably had as least a success against us between the box as they've had all year long. They ran 13 plays inside the box between the tackles and only netted 24 yards on the evening. Unfortunately, we gave up points as they threw the ball deep down the field and ran on the perimeter. But again, that's what teams with speed do, and present issues, and you have to be really good with your angles. But despite all that, our defense played really hard. Our seniors kind of went out the way we would expect of them, continue to play till the final whistle. We'll allow our guys to kind of make that decision as we approach the end of a game and it becomes evident that we're going to lose. We let them decide how much they want to play. Do they want to be taken out? Do they want to play the last play? And all of our guys chose to play as long as possible. Reyes De La Paz, we will miss him, ended up with 2 tackles on the night, multiple year starter for us that just has been an outstanding surprise. Not this year surprise, but over the last 2 years compared to his early career here, just a great surprise and something all our young people that are in our football program can look up to. Junior Aguirre ended up with a really good night with 5 tackles, one of his biggest production nights. We're very glad for him. He grew as a football player and really made our front 7 good on defense. Hayden Maynard finished with 3 tackles in typical fashion. May have played his best game. We've been saying that for about 4 weeks now. So he got in shape, tough through his MCL injury and fought through, and is going to play college football for us, and definitely look forward to watching him there. Had a good night with those 3 tackles. Miles Mays, our freshman, ended up with a quarterback pressure on the night, provided some good perimeter run support, but we weren't able to contain him to allow him to make tackles. And then a couple of our juniors that we look forward to assuming a starting role next year in Colton Harrington and Jackson Holt ended up contributing on the defensive line. At linebacker, Connor Cummings had 8 tackles, a tackle for a loss, several tackles down the field. Connor had an outstanding year, missed the first couple of games due to quarantine, ended up with well over 100 tackles on the year. So a good job by Connor, not only on that night, but for an entire year. We look forward to having him back. Ike Ralston, our other outside linebacker, had 4 tackles. Ike and I talked, the growth that he showed between his first game back from his injury, which was game 5, all the way to the end of the season was outstanding, and he really has a grasp of our defense and what we want, and look forward to his production as he continues on for his senior year next year. Jax Brooker, again, had a good night, 9 tackles and a tackle for a loss. Jax is a guy that's all over the field. He and Connor made several tackles down the field when they were trying to weave through our secondary. Those guys always play hard, and Jax is we're excited to have him back for his senior year, and all 3 of those guys are going to have to help our other linebackers grow, not just our guy that will end up starting or guys that will rotate, but the overall linebacking crew is we're going to lose 3 of them in 2 years' time and have to be prepared for the future. The guy that's going to have to be replaced next year, Jaden Santiago, played well and had 5 tackles. Really was slow getting going this year at his middle linebacker spot, really because of our injuries and our quarantines. He had to play inside linebacker, outside linebacker, strong and weak side, but really grasped on and was a leader for our defense, made a lot of calls for us, and we're just thankful for his service for our football team. Braxton Floyd ended up in the secondary, a junior that's returning for us with 3 tackles, played well. With all those guys in the secondary face some speed they're not used to, but never gave up with his effort, along with Dominic Smith, who also came in with 5 tackles. Dominic was a guy we moved from corner to safety. And we're really going to see how our young guys develop and which guys we need to concentrate on offense will really determine where he is, but we know he's somebody that can contribute to us wherever he goes. Hudson Gray is a very good football player for us, and at the end of the year was able to assume that two-way role that we wanted for him early in the year, and we're going to rely on him heavily on both sides of the ball as we go forward, and he returns. Reese Coward is another underclassman for us in the secondary who ended up with 3 tackles, started every game for us, did an outstanding job improving as the year goes on. We look forward to his senior year, and then a sophomore, Isaiah Foster, came on with 3 tackles as well, loaded with potential as he grows as an individual and a football player. The sky's the limit for him. Probably we'll see some time on offense next year. At this time, let's take a look at our highlights from the football game. We started out on offense, and Hudson got a good punt off, and then here they're trying to run. Good edge set by Ike Ralston, good tackle by Jax Brooker, Jaden Santiago involved, and there's Jaden in the hole, and we end up converging on him and getting a tackle. Try to run a quarterback keep here out of Wildcat with their SEC commit, and we end up tackling him for a loss. The next play causing a fumble that we recover and come back on offense, complete a quick pass to Braden Morrison, typical tough fashion as I've already mentioned. Here they're running a screen. Isaiah Foster does a good job of being physical, getting downhill. We got to get a little more support there as they try to run a screen against us. They're trying to run inside. Junior Aguirre ends up picking up a big tackle for us. They're trying to run the power. Jax Brooker ends up making a big tackle with Jaden Santiago assisting on the play. There we have Ike Ralston setting the edge as they pull and try to kick out, and Jaden Santiago with a big tackle for a loss as he fits inside. Here we hit Ray Morrison with a screen. Good protection, good ball by Owen. They come back. I believe they had scored there. We run a crossing route, and fortunately for us, Braden makes a good catch. Owen makes a good throw, and we pick up several yards on the play. You can see a lot of twists and stunts, and Owen's able to keep the ball and keeps churning through a big hit attempt by one of the DBs. We end up throwing the ball again. He has a good delivery, helmet-to-helmet contact, not called there versus for Braden. Picking up those tough yards. Another good catch and pass from Owen to Braden. They're trying to run inside now against us, and our defense is still doing a good job bringing some pressure. Our pressure causes them to overthrow it a little bit as we come off on the route. Our pressure gets there early this time as well. We're able to protect, and there's our freshman, Miles Mays, able to get a pressure and prevent them from completing a big pass, make them punt. Here as they punt down deep, and Braxton Floyd almost touches the ball, but it ends up bouncing out of bounds, and we return about the 12-yard line. Good catch by Jace Talley. These are the kind of things that we definitely look forward to him next year. Here's where Adrian Reyes unfortunately dislocates his elbow as he hits the linebacker there. Good catch by, I believe that was Ray. Long catch here by Hudson as he's coming down, and on a crossing route is able to pick up big yardage inside the 20-yard line. Run the zone here, but they overplay Cameron, so Owen ends up keeping the ball and getting inside to close to the 10-yard line. They're holding all over the place, and Owen ends up flipping it over their head and ends up catching it. Good job for Ray picking up a touchdown in his last high school football game. Good throw by Owen. As we get on the scoreboard, they run the jet sweep again. We have Ike Ralston setting the edge, who I thought did a really good job for us on the night on all the perimeter runs that they threw. Get some pressure, make them overthrow. They end up coming. Here we're fighting through early contact, what should have been pass interference as well, and good ball by Owen, good catch by Braden, showing those tough yardage, competing for every ball. We end up kicking off here to start the second half to them, and a very good tackle by Will Roper in typical fashion, who did a great job on special teams for us as the year went on, really embraced his role, and wish everybody would take the pride that he did in contributing to us. There's Jaden Santiago, Ike Ralston, I believe Braxton Floyd in on that. They're running the screen, and there's a good play by Isaiah Foster, just got to secure that tackle, and there's Connor Cummings hustling out on the edge, able to make that tackle with the other Bruins there. Running inside again, not picking up many yards. There we kind of beat the point of attack. It cuts back. Jax is there to pick up the tackle. Jax fights through some blockers, and I see Reyes de la Paz in on the pile, Hayden Maynard. Here we give up a little bit of ground, but Junior Aguirre falls off and ends up making a big tackle for us. We come back on offense. They throw the ball. Owen throws the ball across, and a big hit, but a great catch for Braden. We run the screen again in the boundary. Hudson Gray with a huge pickup for us and sprints down the sideline. The only guy on the field that can catch him is the SEC Texas A&M commit as we get down inside their 30-yard line. Come back on defense now, and we're allowing some of our this is later in the game, in the fourth quarter. We're allowing all of our guys to play. There's Jackson Weaver in on the tackle. Dominic Smith running the screen. There's Jackson Weaver again in on it, but it was an incomplete pass. Running the zone, Jace Talley, who is a backup linebacker for us, ends up getting in the backfield, and Jaden Santiago ultimately brings him down. There's Will Roper making the ball cut back. Junior Aguirre and Jaden Santiago, two of our seniors, still playing hard at the end of the game when there's really no chance for us to come back and win. And this kind of shows what our football team's all about and what those young men specifically are about. Good tackle by Will Roper going downhill as he tackles the outside zone, and we make them punt the ball deep to us, and it ends up going out of bounds. Good job by our defense, playing with a little pride. We throw the ball a few times here at the end, get some of our guys some more catches, get Braden another good pickup, another good ball, another hitch route here where Braden catches another one. We're trying to spread the ball between our seniors now, trying to throw the ball to Ray, and Ray's final catch in the Northwest uniform, I believe, was right there as he completes it. A little bit of pressure. Owen has a good scramble, picks up a first down. As the clock winds down, we ended up getting a hold called on us. Come back, very good throw by Owen at the end of the game, and Braden catches the ball, and the score ends up with Bainbridge 48, Northwest 7. At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. This is probably my least favorite episode to do all year long because it means it's a spell to the end of the season. It's a spell to the end of our seniors. And as our football team of 2021, that's always sad for me. I care about our guys immensely, more than just as a football team. If we'd have went 0-10 or 15-0, I would love these guys just as much and the effort they gave. And I definitely have to present some thank yous. I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody along the way, but please understand that everybody that's involved in Northwest football, I'm very appreciative for. I'm going to start out with the coaches' wives and our families. Personally, on my note, my wife Jennifer and my son Paxton and daughter Ainsley are really, to a certain degree, without their father for 3 or 4 months at a time. I put in a lot of time here with our young men and to try to make us successful, and because of that, my wife has to kind of shoulder a wide load, and she's wonderful and does so many things. My son's in 7th grade. I look forward to coaching him in a couple of years, and my daughter's in 5th, and I enjoy seeing her as she comes up. But not just my wife and my family. It's all of my coaches. They sacrifice a lot. Their families are kind of living on their own to a certain degree during football season, and unless you've coached high school football, you really don't understand all that's entailed and goes into, and the planning and the meeting and getting ready. That takes away from your family. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to love what you do, and more than that, you have to love who's on your football team, and all of my coaches do, and I'm extremely thankful for them. I'm not going to name all my coaches because they fortunately for me, it's a group of men that are together and don't care what role they assume. They just play whatever role is needed. And that could change from week to week depending on quarantines and sicknesses, which are some things that we had this year amongst our coaching staff. And they give selfishly and drive from all over the area to get here to be with our kids. So I'm very thankful for them. I'm going to thank Miss Jones too. I can't say enough about her. Our first year as an administrator and or the administrator here, the main principal at Northwest, and she has experience. She's a Northwest person. She wants Northwest to be successful. But when things are new, a football coach is just never sure how things are going to go. And she was absolutely immaculate. I'm so happy that she was as supportive as what she was. I really feel that if we went 0-10, she would have been just as supportive if we went 15-0. And she loves Northwest. She loves Northwest football. She wants our young men to be successful, and I'm very thankful for her. Our new athletic director, Rodney Shields, was outstanding as well. Very supportive at all our games, doing meeting requests that I have, making sure everything's organized. Is a big undertaking for him to get everything ready for a Friday night. Again, nobody really understands all the behind-the-scenes stuff until you're directly involved, and I thought Coach Shields did an outstanding game, putting on the production of a Friday night and supporting our football team. Again, he's very supportive of our young men. He wants to see them successful at our level, but he understands that winning is not everything, and he wants them to grow as young men, and he was happy to see that as the year went on. I also thank Coach Middleton, who was a part in that production, assistant athletic director for us, who helped organize everything. And again, just he and I have a long history of being together here at Northwest. He's a Northwest guy, and is, again, extremely supportive. I'm going to thank Miss Humble. She is our athletic secretary. She get a lot of things together for us as the year went, buses, absentees, trying to make sure our paperwork's in line. She's just outstanding. Miss Pierce is a front office worker for us who, has to deal with absences amongst staff as the year goes on, and she kind of helps take care of everything that's put together. Miss Eller, who is a assistant principal for us, helps assign our young men to weight training classes to help them get stronger. That doesn't happen everywhere. Mr. Maynard, who helps produce this show and basically every technology need that we have within our football team, Mr. Maynard is a large portion of. I'm going to thank specifically the quarterback club officers. Those guys undertook a ton as the year goes on. We can never have enough support, and those guys were willing to do whatever was necessary for us to be successful, and I'm so thankful for all of those. Our quarterback club in general, it's not easy because you're not only giving up your child during football season, but you're coming to be involved and be a part of everything, and we can never have enough. Everybody is always welcome to be a part of our quarterback club here, but I especially want to thank those people that helped this year. Our corporate sponsors, unfortunately, one of the most important things that is done around here as far as supporting our football team is money. Our corporate sponsors are a big source of that, and we raised a ton of money on the year, and we're just so thankful for all of those, and would encourage you, if you have the opportunity to make a decision to go with someone that's a Northwest supporter of the corporate sponsors or not, that you go with those corporate sponsors. They've shown support for our young men. I know that's a decision I make, and that's something I want to continue, and hopefully you do that as well. But we're so appreciative of all of those guys. Our Super Bruin members, again, it costs money to do things, and these people join the quarterback club to get season tickets and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time supported above and beyond just buying a regular ticket for us. Mr. Vanoy and the band were outstanding. I love Mr. Vanoy. He's great. I think our band is wonderful. I constantly hear, I don't get to see their performance, but I hear rave reviews over those guys as we go throughout the year, and the support that they show and the hard work that they put in. They start in early July as well and continue on, so it's a long season for them as well. Our cheerleaders, Miss Enlow and her staff are outstanding. Our cheerleaders are very supportive and put in a lot of work, had a good year, finished well, going to the final state tournament for them. So we're very thankful and congratulate them on their accomplishments. Our fan support in general, we can't have enough of you. The more people that show up for these young men make it more memorable each and every week, and we're just so thankful for all of you guys. I have to thank the central office, Dr. Uten and Miss Williams have been wonderful, especially at the end of the years. We were dealing with buses, various transportation issues. They've been very supportive of us. And then probably the last two things here I'm going to talk about are the most important thing, the parents. I know, as a parent myself, I understand the desire for your kid on a personal level, and to sacrifice your young men to our football program means a ton to me. And I know that things are always not in agreement about how it should operate, but you guys trust us with your young men, and I'm forever thankful for that. And I do feel like they come out of our football program more prepared to kind of meet our motto, and that's better husbands and better fathers one day in the future. Our players in general, I love our guys. I wouldn't trade places with anybody, whether they're still playing in the state playoffs or not. I'm where I want to be for the rest of my career, is with the Northwest football players. They're what makes all the sacrifice time and the sacrifices with our family worth it, especially for me. I care about them on an immense level, and our guys were wonderful and showed an immense commitment. Our JV had to go on the road a lot this year. Our freshmen had to go on the road a lot this year. Their season ended. We had multiple freshmen choose to stay out there and participate with our football team. We had multiple JV guys. Every JV guy stayed out there to help make our football team better after their season ended. So I'm incredibly thankful for all them, but I have to end with our seniors. They put in the most effort, the most time. The majority of these guys have been on the football team for 4 years, and some of them play every play. Some of these guys contribute Monday through Thursday on the scout team, but they assume their role and were very instrumental in the turnaround of our football season. So I'm so forever thankful for them, and one of the things we like to end doing each year is mentioning each of their names and showing a little graphic of them. So we'll do that this time. Our seniors starting in as best alphabetical order as we could. Arenio Aguirre, known as Junior. Riley Bonanno. Reyes De La Paz. Austin Duncan. Silas Herod. Hayden Maynard. Micah Mohan. Braden Morrison. Ray Morrison. Adrian Reyes. Will Roper. Jaden Santiago. Alex Starks, Jackson Weaver. So that's all our seniors. We're very thankful for them. I wish I could talk about them, 10, 20 minutes each. They made a sacrifice at some level, again, whether they were playing every play or playing sparsely throughout the year. They did things to make our football team good this year, to help set history this year and throughout their years here at Northwest. I'm so incredibly thankful for everyone. It's unfortunate this is the last show, but we're already looking forward to next year. We've started workouts with our guys that are returning. Our schedule is going to be challenging. We've picked up Sonorville into our region. We lost Ridgeland and Pickens, so it'll be Sonorville is a team that's very similar. We're going to have a tough non-region schedule that varies. We're going to have to travel some. We're going to have people here. We're going to have teams that made the second, third round of the playoffs. We're going to have teams from out of state that we're going to compete against. So it's a very wide-ranging schedule that I'm looking forward for us to compete in. It's going to be difficult. It's going to require a lot of work and a lot of commitment, but there's no doubt that our Bruin football program can come together and have another successful year. Until next year, I'm Josh Robinson.